A lotus is a flower rooted in the mud that rises through and above to become a beautiful bloom. This is a podcast sharing mine and other stories of how we've done the same, choosing to rise above our circumstances to bloom. I'm your host, Amber. Let's get started. So this is my friend, Ashlyn.
Hi.
We've known each other. I was trying to count this out, actually. We've known each other for 5 years. No, we haven't.
I'm
4 years.
Yeah, like 4 years, right? Is that when Watt started?
Yeah, so it started in November.
You have such a good memory. That whole time is I've like blacked it out. It was a great time in our life, but also a lot was going on. I don't remember anything. I don't remember dates.
Well, the only reason I remember is because you posted the video recently. It was like the 2-year anniversary of us jumping off of a 600-foot cliff. Which we'll have to talk about.
That was 2 years.
2 years ago. Can you believe that?
Yeah.
Because, I think Sloan wasn't even one yet. But the only reason I remember is because they started in the fall. When we did our jump was like the whatever anniversary of them doing their jump.
So like a year later.
Or 2 years later, maybe. Yeah.
Is it 2 years? Okay.
And then we had our queens. They decided to start queens for the wives. And we had our first one-day event in April. And
you have the bet. I'm like, how are you pulling out these months and days?
Because I went to New Orleans on a girls trip because Ben and I had decided we were going to try for our second baby. And I was like, I want to have like one last hurrah girls trip. Yeah. Went on a girls trip to New Orleans, had a blast, and then came back. And beginning of May is when I got pregnant with Sloan. So it was like.
Because I got pregnant with Charlie because our babies are only a couple weeks apart or like a week apart.
That's what's hilarious too, is your due date was like
before yours, right?
Yeah, like a week or something before mine. And then you ended up having him almost 2 weeks after because I had her a week early.
Did you go into labor?
No, I had to be induced.
Okay. Because I was trying to just go as I was having him naturally. Yeah. I was having him at home. I was just waiting patiently. And of course, when it's like that, it's like 2 weeks later.
Yeah. That was so funny. You were so impatient. But yeah, so we've known each other for 4 years. Yeah. I was thinking back of when we first met. And I remember it was at one of the houses that you guys own, an Airbnb that you guys rent out. In Heber. And I remember when you walked in because I was like, oh, her outfit is so cute. She looks so cute. And then we did breath work and we were laying next to each other. Mm-hmm. I didn't talk to you the whole time until then. Mm-hmm. And I remember being like a little, and we've talked about this a ton of times, being like a little intimidated just because I thought like, wow, she's so beautiful. We probably don't have anything in common. And I can't tell you like how many times I've probably thought that, which is so ridiculous when you really think about it. But then we did breath work and I'd never done breath work before. But
I didn't know that was your first time.
That was my first time. And for some reason, yours and another...
Jenny. Was it Jenny?
Yeah. We were all kind of right next to each other. And I could like feel your guys' energy. And it just felt so beautiful. And I loved it so much that I had to go up and tell you.
Yeah.
And then,
that was a really cool moment.
It was really cool. Yeah. And then ever since then, we've just had like...
a connection.
Oh yeah.
I love you.
I love you.
You're like my soul sister. I have these connections with women because when you grow up and you don't really have like safe women and friends, once you find that, you're like, okay, I value this. I love this. This is what it feels like to just like know what it's like to like have a safe friendship. Mm-hmm. And you can just feel it with certain women.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. And sometimes it's like instantly. I actually had someone on that I interviewed last week. Or not last week. I say that the other day. I forget when it was. But we said the same thing of like when you meet somebody and you just click with them, it is such a different vibration of energy. And I love that you mentioned that it's like, it's this safe feeling of like.
It's like a knowing, like, oh, like I feel like I've known you or you're just familiar. Like
there's no effort that goes into it. It's just like this ease.
And you can just be yourself, which is the best part.
Yes.
Feeling like you don't have to perform for other women or hide yourself, dim yourself. Cause like you said, like it's really easy to compare and just like judge someone right up front. And I've I had that all my life. And so I'm just kind of used to it. But it's like a joke that we've had where it's like, and with other girls, like, oh, I judged you before I saw you. And I thought you were a bitch or like whatever. And I'm like, oh, like, okay. But, you know, I get it. Like we all
really nice. I thought it was so funny too when I told you that, because it was later on that I think we'd known each other for over a year or more.
Yeah, you didn't tell me right away.
No, and then when I finally did tell you, I was like, by the way, I had a really hard time talking to you.
I was like, it's fine. Like we're
whatever.
friends. I get it.
Yeah. But you lately have been telling your story, which actually, so we had that one Queen's Day. They decided to do a retreat about 6 months later, and you got to tell a little bit of your story, open up at that retreat about, you mentioned.
Maybe I think I just got up right and I said something.
You did. And you were like, I'm going to say this before
terrifying thing I've ever done in my life.
Yes.
Because I never shared that publicly with like anyone other than my husband.
Yeah. And that's when you told us that you had for a long time gone by your middle name.
Oh, yes. Yes.
And, you had been slut shamed quite a lot. And so you didn't go into a ton of detail, but you went into enough detail to kind of get your point across of like what you're trying to heal. And what I love is that lately you've been sharing a lot more of your story online. Mm-hmm. And I think that it's so relatable. And it was really interesting because there was actually some stuff that even though we're friends, I didn't know about you. And I feel like we kind of have in common about how we grew up. Mm-hmm. And so if you don't mind, I would love for you to share a little bit of just like what you've been sharing online, and then kind of tie into what we were talking about before of like, how that flows.
I would love to. And I just want to say, I look up to you. I think that it's amazing that you're using this platform to share your story and your message and allowing other women and people, men, do the same. I want to do that. And I think it's so amazing when other humans give people the opportunities to do that. And it empowers us to share our message. It makes us more confident. And then it's like a ripple effect, you know? So thank you for doing this, because it's not easy. I mean, at first I'm sure. And then obviously you have to keep up with things. And so anyway, well,
I do feel like the more that people get to share their story, because like, I'm sure for me anyways, there was a lot of shame with my story, and then realizing, oh, wait a minute, this shame isn't even mine to begin with, and then healing through that. But I feel like saying things out loud and getting to finally tell all of the things that you've been ashamed at and had judgment around, takes that away. Mm-hmm. It like takes the power or the sting of it away. It
totally does. It's like saying it out loud. It's not that big of a deal in my head. Like, you know, it's kind of sitting there and your mind can spiral and thoughts.
Create all these stories around it.
Yes, you have all these stories. And then kind of when you like say it out loud or even like sharing it with other people, there's so many videos I have on my phone where I'm just like speaking and just sharing my thoughts and what I'm struggling with. And then after I'm like, okay, it's actually not that bad.
Yeah.
So,
well, and then hearing other people who can relate to you and realizing like, oh, you went through this too. Mm-hmm. So I wasn't alone in this. Even though I, at the time, had no idea that you existed, it still means just as much after the fact to know like, oh, I wasn't alone going through this. Yeah.
And that was my main point of even randomly putting a video up on Instagram 6 months ago.
Yeah.
Because I knew in that moment that if I had someone like me when I was younger, who shared their message and shared their story and said, hey, I went through this and I got out of it and I'm okay. And like life gets so good. You're going to make it. I think it would have made it a lot easier and I wouldn't have struggled as much. I also would never want to change anything. Like it's made me who I am today. And I'm so grateful for that. But I do think there's a lot of power in sharing your story and talking about your shit. And, you know, it doesn't make you loved any less or any less. It actually makes you more lovable, or I don't know if lovable is the right word, but just like relatable. And, you know, that's how you resonate with people and make connections. So, so thank you for letting me do that today.
I'm so excited.
I don't really want to focus on like the pain of my story, right? I think it's really important to understand where I came from and why bullying affected me so much, because so many people get bullied, especially nowadays, like social media, cyberbullying. It's so easy for someone to hide behind a username and a screen and say awful things.
Well, there's no repercussions.
There's no accountability.
Yeah.
Like you can just do whatever. And then it's like, okay. Yep. So, and I think it's really important because I've been bullied more in my adulthood and like my life, or like, you know, older now than I was even younger, but it doesn't affect me like that, right? I grew up with instability and no really self-worth or self-love, and I didn't really have a good foundation. So the things that were said about me hurt a lot deeper and it affected me a lot deeper, and it like took over my life. So,
well, and you had, at that young of an age, you have no reason to believe otherwise.
Yeah.
Like these are the people that are helping you figure out who you are. It's like this reflection thing of like, okay, well, they're doing this and they do this, and now I get to decide how I feel about it. But you also have this naiveness of just like not a lot of foundation. And so there's no, I feel like when I was younger, if somebody said something about me, like it's weird, the little things that stick in your head. Like I remember when I was like 15 playing with my friends, we went and jumped in puddles, and then we went back into my friend's house, and in her mudroom, we're all rinsing our legs off. And one of my friends made a comment about my calves being big. And ever since then,
like it's something that maybe in the moment for them, they didn't even think to like be mean.
And probably didn't even think that it was mean to say that. Like maybe she thought she was complimenting me, but in my mind, it formed this insecurity.
Yeah.
And like I had nobody had ever made comments about my calves before. So here's this first comment, and I have no reason to not believe that that's true. Right. So it's really wild how like the difference though of when you're younger and people are saying these things, and then once you're older and you do start settling into who you are and have that security, and why that's so important to build that.
Yeah. Yeah. So important. And now that I have kids, I'm trying to instill it in my kids at a young age, because I want them to have confidence and self-love and self-worth. And I want them to know you can come to mom and dad, you can tell us anything, and I'm not going to love you less.
Right. Exactly.
And I just, I don't want them to let other people's beliefs or words to, of course it's going to affect kids at some point.
We can only do so much.
Yeah. You can only do so much, but yeah, I think it's really important to instill that at a young age. And so, yeah, for me, I grew up in a divorced home. My parents got divorced when I was really little, like 5 months old. My dad got remarried to my stepmom within like a year. My mom, she really struggled. She was a single mom. She had 3 kids. She was juggling going to massage therapy school and having us. And I think knowing my dad got remarried and starting a new life, it was really hard for her.
Yeah. And so you have 2 other siblings, right?
Yeah. So I have, it's like blended. I have my biological brother and sister, and then me.
Okay.
And then my dad and my stepmom had a son. So I have a little brother, and my stepmom had 4 kids of her own when they got married. And then my mom, she has a son as well with her ex. Okay. So there's like 9 of us, but from just like my mom, just us 3.
Okay. And are you guys pretty close in age?
Yeah.
Range?
We're 2 years apart. So actually with my whole family, which is crazy, we're all 2 years apart.
Oh, that's so funny.
Like all of us.
That's what my cousins and I are the same way. So that's how I remember everybody's ages. That's so funny.
Yeah.
But like, the reason I ask is like, okay, being a single mom, going to school, going through a divorce, having your ex remarry and start a new family so quickly, and having these, and you were young.
We were little.
So she basically had like a 4, a 2, and a baby.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah. So and like, now that I'm a mom, I have a lot of compassion for her, because I could understand how she could struggle so much and do the things that she did. I can't imagine going through that on my own. And so, yeah, I mean, she struggled with eating disorders like most of her life. And she came from a really chaotic, broken home too. And so she didn't learn the skill set to like emotionally regulate. And she didn't have a safe woman. She didn't have, a dad to turn to. It was like the parents got divorced and the girls went with the mom and the boys went with the dad, and they were like,
so she was going through something similar then.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Interesting.
So my mom is like now that I get older, I'm like, oh my gosh, like there's a lot of like we're like a mirror to each other in a lot of ways. And I think I'm going through what I'm going through because I'm like, we're stopping this.
Yeah, exactly. Cycle breaker.
Yeah. So my mom, she kind of just had a breakdown, and it started getting bad. She started becoming physically abusive, and it got to the point where we would have marks on us, and we would go to school, and people were concerned. And we would go we'd have lice all the time. We would go, I don't even know how long without having baths. And so my mom lived in Orem. My dad lived in Provo. And so I don't even know like how often we would get like swapped and go see them, but they started getting really concerned. And then my stepmom and my dad made the decision to fight for custody, which is like a big deal back then for a dad.
Especially in Utah.
Yeah, especially in Utah. And it got to a point where we had welfare checks. We had CPS. I had CPS coming to my school. I was in kindergarten.
Oh, man.
Coming to my school and pulling me out of class and asking me questions. And I was scared. Like I was afraid to tell the truth because I didn't want to hurt my mom. It was really conflicting because I didn't want to hurt my mom. I loved her so much, but I knew we were in a bad situation, and I wanted, like, it's crazy thinking of a 5-year-old, like, thought process, right?
Yeah.
But like, I wanted a better life for us, but like, I wanted my mom so bad. Like, I loved my mom so bad, and I didn't want to hurt her, and I didn't want to, like, telling the truth was like, it was wrong. And so that was something that was like solidified in me, that like the truth can hurt people and it can be bad. So they ended up going through a really nasty, really bad custody battle, and my dad ended up winning. And I'll never forget that day. My mom came home and was just like sobbing, just hysterical. She didn't think that she would lose. And it was really, really tough. And I remember thinking, like, this is my fault. Like, I hurt my mom. I'm going to lose my mom. I'm never going to see her again. We have to move to Oregon. And so, yeah, it was just at 5 years old, it was kind of this, like, I had so much instability and unsafety that I just would do anything to like have it.
Yeah.
And so we moved to Oregon. We moved out of state. My mom was in Utah. We moved out of state to live with my stepmom and my dad. And it was a really big change because there were 8 kids. She had 4, and my dad had 1 together, and then it was 3 more coming in. And it was tough because my stepmom, I think she had a lot of resentment towards us. And so we did get excluded from the family a lot. And she, it was tough because I think she was really jealous of our relationship with my dad. And so again, it was like, I didn't have my mom, and I didn't really have a mom there either because she was just emotionally like checked out. And so when I had moved there, the first thing, I think it was maybe like the night of, I don't even quite remember, like a couple days after I had gotten there, my stepmom sat down with me and was like, "Hey, Ashlyn, we have something that we want to tell you. Me and your dad have been talking, and we just think that it would be a really good idea if you went by your middle name, Kaylee, because Ashlyn is just, it's a dirty name. Your dad, he didn't actually pick it out. Your mom picked it out. He didn't ever really want it. And like the definition of Ashlyn is ash tree, and it just is like kind of a dirty name. So we think you should go by Kaylee. It's so much prettier. And like, what do you think?" And me at 5, I'm like, oh, like, again, solidified. I am not, like, who I am is not good enough for you guys. So if I have to change my name to make me lovable and accepted, like, yeah, I'll do that.
Well, and where you already felt like you had rocked the boat and this whole huge shift was your fault because you told the truth, it makes sense why at that point you'd be like, listen, anything to keep the peace so I don't lose this love that I'm supposed to be getting right now.
Yeah. Yeah. So it was like a huge identity shift at 5 years old.
Yeah.
And I didn't like it. It makes sense why things played out throughout my childhood and why bullying and all of that affected me so much is because I had this identity crisis. I had this, I didn't have that self-worth and self-love to fall back on. And so I was just kind of like allowing myself to get put in situations that probably weren't the best, or I wasn't using my voice, or getting in friendships that were really controlling, or I was just kind of like, yeah, like I'll just, do whatever.
Well, yeah, because it's like you were taught at a really young age that love equals me changing to whatever you want me to be.
Yeah, being like a chameleon.
Yes.
Like whoever I need, whoever I'm with, I will just be what they want me to be, even if it's me, even if it's not me. Like, if, and if that means that they'll be my friend or they'll love me and accept me, then like, I mean, that's all I want anyway. So it doesn't matter.
Ugh. I feel like that's something that I can totally relate to. Especially, I don't know so much when I was little, but when I moved to Utah after I was 19 when I moved here, right before I turned 19. And I was just living a religion that was very conservative and restrictive. And so to me, like this outside world, I didn't know how it worked. And I had lost all of my friends. And so to have people that I just wanted friends. I just wanted to be liked. And I expected that other people had my best interests and they were like teaching me the ways. And so I blindly followed it. And also I wanted these friends. I didn't want to lose my friends again. So I was saying yes to things, going places I didn't really want to go, hanging out with people that I didn't really want to hang out with, and doing things with guys that I, in the end, was like, I really didn't want to do that, Yeah. And it's like, you can feel like this sinking inside of like losing yourself.
Yeah.
And this disappointment in yourself.
Yeah.
And then at the same time, you try to convince, for me anyways, I try to convince myself like, no, but I'm having fun though. Like there's nothing, this is great. And I
think it's tough because like you're conflicted because like you want it. Yeah. But then you're kind of like betraying yourself in a way where you eat yourself out. You're like, oh, why did I do that? And then you live in shame and guilt, but then you do it again. And then it's like this cycle. And that's what I, getting into my teenage years and like junior high, that was a huge repetitive cycle for me because I saw now boys were coming to me. Right. And it was like, oh, they want me. They love me. And I just wanted sometimes I just wanted someone to like talk to, Yeah. And I just wanted to like.
Who had an interest in you and wanted to get to know you, who you really were.
Yeah. And boys are so smart. Like even the boys at like 14 years old, I think they even knew like, hey, if I just like talk to her a little bit, give her a little bit of attention, then I can get what I want. And that's kind of when it started with like friends and family, just like, yeah, whatever you say, I'll just kind of like follow along. And then with boys, when I started liking boys and getting attention from boys, it was kind of the same thing. Like I just will give them what they want so that like I can get what I want. Like I feel love when they want me and when, they text me to sneak out and hook up. And like, I'm like, part of me wants to do that. I actually like to do that. But then it's like that shame and that guilt. And then that was the worst part because then it started to overtake everything in my life. And I had no self-confidence, no self-worth. And then stopped, having friends. And then rumors go around. And then it's like this whole thing that just will take over.
Yeah. I think for me too, I don't know if you want to say I was lucky, but I can't even imagine in high school. So I was actually homeschooled for high school.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. So for 7th grade through graduation, I was homeschooled.
Okay.
Because when I moved to live with my grandma and I was like neck deep in the religion that I was in, being a Jehovah's Witness, it made more sense for me to be homeschooled. So I would have more time to dedicate to the religion than to go to public school. And all of my friends at the time were also being homeschooled. Okay. So like I had a little community. It's not like I was super isolated, but that means I also didn't have to deal with, I had a few friends who went to public school and the stuff that they would tell me about, I was like, so glad I didn't have to deal with that. Cause I can't even imagine having to deal with typical teenage stuff on top of being different because of your religion. But my high school experience was very like, I had friends who were doing all of the same things that I was doing. And we were besties and we hung out and it was great. But I can't imagine like, I don't know, just knowing how, like, I remember even in 6th grade, how petty girls were. And I played into that. Yeah. That's the other thing too, is that like in some aspects I was a bully and I look back at that and I'm like, what a little shithead.
I think, no, but I think we all have had little things, right? Because again, you just want to be accepted. I think at the end of the day, you just want to be accepted and you just want to like, feel like you're a part of something. And if you don't do that, then you're going to lose your friends.
Right.
And so.
And a lot of the stuff that I did or I said was like, I'm just saying this because I know other people will think it's funny.
Yeah. Yeah. No, and I had done stuff like that too growing up. Like I definitely have been on the other side where I just like went along with things, and even silence is acceptance, right? Like even if you didn't actually say something to someone, not saying that was wrong is just as bad.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And I think that's why in high school, it also really affected me because I got bullied by boys. It was the boys who were spreading rumors around about me and who would call out slut and whore and like isolate me. Like it got to like, I hated walking down the hallways because I was afraid that boys were going to like, you know, yell stuff out. And I would, you know, be so embarrassed. But it was really the silence from the girls who I thought were my friends that honestly hurt the most. Right. And then, and then it's just, again, this belief system that like, okay, women aren't safe, you know, friends aren't safe, boy, like, Yeah.
Well, and then it also, for me, it made me kind of question, I'm choosing these people as my friends. I'm choosing these people as who I like or who I'm pursuing or worth my time. And then like, it just really made me question my own judgment. Like, I don't know how to pick people then.
Yeah, for sure. You don't really have that confidence in friendships. And so it's hard to find good ones, especially when you don't already feel like you have, like for me, I didn't feel like I had anything to offer. So then like, why would anybody want to be my friend?
Man.
You know?
Yeah.
And going into junior high, that all started and rumors. And I think it just, because I, again, had all these belief systems already ingrained in me, it just like overtook everything. And I think, you know, kids probably don't really think much about what they say, right? But like we were talking about earlier, you never know what can stick with someone. And slut and whore, like those words stuck with me for so many years of my life, even after high school and like in college, like even the word slut, it was so triggering to me because it was so like, there was this huge wound there that, you know, was ingrained from like an early age on. And, you know, I think people have to be so careful about what they say, and you never know how someone was raised, you know, their foundation, their, you know, the people around them. You don't know how these things can affect their life and how it will, you know, ripple effect into the rest of their life and
where they take it on as their identity. Because there's sometimes where we say something and we think like, oh, it's just words, like whatever. But clearly there have been things that people have said to or about us that if I have this thing where it's like, I'm most offensive about the things that I'm already self-conscious about. And so if somebody is saying something that I already have a little bit of a wound around, then it's going to stick with me even more to where I'm taking that on as my identity, especially as a young kid. As an adult, it's a little bit different, but like I have a better filter for that. But as a kid, if somebody says something, and so many people are saying it about you, and if you were already believing that about yourself, then it's not just, this is something that I've done. It's, this is who I am.
Yeah.
That's what that becomes.
It's like core belief. And I think for me, it got so bad in my head. I mean, I was failing all of my classes. I was failing all my classes in 9th grade for the most part, because that's when it really started getting bad. 10th grade, failing my classes. It was by the end of that year that I just let these thoughts and this self-hatred overcome it was literally my whole world, and I had nobody to talk to. Like I didn't have, I couldn't go and talk to my dad about it because I was ashamed. Like I felt like he's not going to love me if I tell him that I, was messing around with boys, and I, gave myself up at 14 years old to a boy just because I wanted to be loved so bad. Like he's going to be so mad at me and so ashamed. So I kept everything in, but I felt like everybody else knew everything about me. And so it was this internal battle all the time. And by the time it was 10th grade, I was like, I have to get out of here. I have to get out of here. I can't do this anymore. I can't do this alone.
Did you try asking your parents, your stepmom and your dad, to maybe switch schools even, or?
No, I didn't even really think of that as an option. Like in my world, it was like everybody in Utah thinks this about me, even though they didn't, right?
Well, and at the same time, it's like small lake city.
Yeah.
Like,
well, yeah. And it's tough. It's tough too in Utah because, there's everybody, like for the most part. Yeah. Most people are LDS. And for me, the boy that I was first like messing around with, I really, really liked him. We were in the same neighborhood, same ward, and things got out. He went and talked to the bishop. I had to go talk to the bishop. And it kind of was this thing where like I was the problem. Like I was the one that made him do this. So then I was like wearing a scarlet letter almost like wherever I went. Yeah. Like that's how it felt. And like,
So then it probably felt like even if you would have transferred to another school in Utah, everybody there already knows about it. Plus you still had church. That didn't take that away, your ward.
Yeah.
And
I was still like, my roots were still like everywhere that I would go, I would still have my roots, and like someone in my head, I'm like, someone would know something. And I was friends with people at different schools. And so, like, I think my mom was my own, like in my head, I'm like, my mom is my only way out. And my mom for years, I only saw my mom once or twice a year since I was 5, and now I'm 16. And my mom, she bonded with me and with my sister by, it's like trauma bonding. It was like, your stepmom is the worst. And like my mom would get us our cell phones. And so I could talk to my mom every day on my cell phone. And so it became this thing where my mom really wanted to have custody of me, but in spite of like my stepmom and my dad, I don't think she really knew what that would entail. And so we drew up this plan that I was going to get emancipated, because obviously my dad would never say, yeah, you can go live with your mom.
After everything he fought for.
Yeah.
Why didn't she want to fight for custody again instead of having you emancipated? Did you ever find that out?
She didn't want to spend the money on it because it would be expensive. And
that makes sense.
I think she knew if she fought for it, I don't know if she really thought she would win or not. Yeah. But it was more so me begging my dad if I could go live with her. And he's like, no. And then and it started getting really bad with my stepmom, and we had always fought, but when you're like a teenager and you're just butt heads, like it got bad. And I think I made life hell for her, even though I wouldn't say I was really that bad of a kid, but we just fought so much that I think it got to a point for her too, where she was like, I don't even want you to live here.
Yeah.
And so it was me getting emancipated, and that happened. My dad's like, okay, like, if this is what you want, like, it breaks my heart, but like, nothing is going to sway you. So yeah, go live with your mom.
Wow. What did that entail for you to get emancipated though?
I don't even remember. My mom was dating a guy at the time, and they had just hired a lawyer, I think, and he drew up the paperwork and did it. I don't even really know.
Man. And so then at 16, so now you're emancipated. You move to California to live with your mom. How was it then?
Oh, I thought it was bad here.
No.
Oh yeah. Yeah. It was a total, if I didn't move to California, I truly don't think I would be here today and have the life that I have, because I had to experience that life is not, the grass is not greener on the other side.
Yeah.
I thought I was going to run away to California, have this perfect beach life and start over and have new friends and completely forget about all the people and rumors in Utah. And what I didn't know at 16 is that you can't run from your problems. Like, they're going to follow you wherever you go. And so I moved, and my mom, she didn't have a community. She didn't have friends. She didn't have people in like a solid foundation in California, right?
Okay.
So it's kind of just me and her.
And so you were each other's. Okay.
So it was very isolating, very, I didn't have the tools to.
We were 16.
Yeah. Like, I didn't have the tools to even know how to build self-confidence back, build self-trust, but like make new friends, because I already had these subconscious and conscious beliefs that like, I'm not good enough. I'm not loved. And so how am I supposed to like go and make a new life and build a life on what my core beliefs are right now?
Right.
I didn't know that at the time. And I don't have a mom to help me do it. She's like the exact same person. Right.
Yeah.
So, so I moved there. I started school at Carlsbad High, and immediately like started becoming friends with like the wrong people. And I'm saying wrong people because we're like a reflection, right? So like I was attracting people who I thought, because I didn't have like self-worth and self-love, I was attracting the wrong friends at first, and like not the greatest friends and people. And then I would play my like games in my mind where I thought that people would start to find out the rumors about me.
Of what had happened in Utah?
I forgot to mention this. So when I moved to California, I went back by Ashlyn. So I switched back.
Okay.
So at 16, I decided to go back to Ashlyn, and like everybody calls me Ashlyn. Like, I'm never going to be Kaylee again.
Yeah.
So that was also another thing that was like, okay, I'm this different person.
Yeah.
And I think that's why I was so scared too, subconsciously, that like, if people knew I changed my name,
then they would be like, what does she have to hide?
Yes, what does she have to hide?
Yeah.
So then it just crept in, like at the start of my junior year, like the first like month I remember was like good. And I was kind of on high, like I'm going to start over. And I was, making new friends. But then like the self-doubt, the negative talk, like all the horrible thoughts started to creep in and just overcame me. And it got to a point where I isolated myself. Like, I stopped hanging out with like anybody, the friends that I did have. And I ended up telling my mom after that first semester. I mean, there were times where it actually got to a point where it was like every day, but I didn't have anybody to eat lunch with. So I would go to, I would either go to where they were having detention and pretend that I had detention. So I would sit the whole lunch period in detention. Or I would go to the gym bathroom, and I would literally just sit in like the gym bathroom, or like, it was like me hiding out basically. Cause I was so embarrassed that people would see me, that I had no friends, and people, I was just so paralyzed by fear. Fear of people thinking that I was the rumors that I ran away from. Somehow they knew. Fear that people would see me without any friends. So it was always me like running and hiding.
Yeah.
So it would be me spending lunch there, or just, it became this like pattern where I was just like running again. And so after that semester, I told my mom that I couldn't do public school anymore, and that I wanted to be homeschooled.
Interesting.
Yeah. So the last half of my junior year, I tried a home study program, and it was like the most depressing time of my life.
Yeah.
Because I was
Because then you have zero socializing.
Yes, I had literally
and you're at home with your mom.
And I'm at home with my mom, who is already very, very emotionally unstable. Her whole life is just consumed by like, you know, what can I get from someone? Like, who can I use? And so I was just like around that, and around like nobody. And so I was very, very alone, very isolated, just living in like constant fear, constant judgment of myself. I had no activities. I wasn't in any sports. Like, I had no outlet. So it was just like, again, I was just stuck in this.
Made your own stories even louder.
Yeah. And then after that semester, again, I was like, I can't do this anymore.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to put my big girl pants on and go back to school, because I need something. I can't be here at home alone every single day. So if that means me going back to Carlsbad, like, I'm just going to do it. And right before I started that semester, there was a boy who I met at school my first semester. He was this cute surfer boy who, you know, we talked like twice, and we had exchanged numbers, but like we never really hung out or anything. And he had randomly texted me right before school started, and was like, hey, like, I haven't been seeing you around. What have you been up to? And we just started talking. And then before I know it, we're like going on a date, and then we like become boyfriend and girlfriend. And this is my last semester of junior year. So we started dating, and then little did I know this would be like the catalyst to like, you know, my relationships and beliefs in like what I deserve in that. And it was a very emotionally abusive and even physically abusive relationship.
Interesting.
But
how long were you guys together?
We were together for a year and a half.
Wow.
Yeah. So all my last junior year and my whole senior year, we were together.
It's a long time for kids that age. And especially when it's emotionally and physically abusive.
Well, and he came from a broken home too. So we were like two broken souls who found each other and like, you know, trauma bonded, and like we needed each other. But truly, like, he got me through my senior year. I don't know what I would have done without him, because I had to make up 2 years in 1 year, because I had failed I had basically, when I moved to California, they're like, I don't think you're going to graduate. You failed your whole sophomore year, because I was truant. I didn't go to school because I didn't want to go to school. And my parents were so checked out that they didn't know I was failing until like they get the calls, and they're like, why are you failing?
Yeah.
Like, it's a little too late now.
Man. So what about your brother and your sister? Like, did they move to California with you? Did they stay in Utah?
No, my brother, he didn't have a relationship with my mom, like, at all.
Okay. It
was really like volatile. Like, he tried to go and visit her every now and then throughout those years from when my dad got custody of us. And every time my brother would go out with us, they would end up getting in a huge blow up, and my brother would always end up leaving.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
And then what about your sister?
My sister was always kind of like neutral, and she was still close with my mom, kind of the same as me, but I was more of like a free spirit, and like, I always wanted my sister was kind of more of a daddy's girl, but she obviously loved my mom. But like there was something since I was little, I just wanted my mom. I always like wanted her to want me. Mm-hmm. And so, yeah. So I think our relationship was a little bit different. And then that's why it was like at 16, okay, I want to go live with her because 1, she's like an outlet to run away from my problems.
Yeah.
And 2, like I really do miss her and I want to be with her.
Yeah. What is your relationship with your mom like now?
We don't speak. We haven't spoken to each other really. We don't have a relationship in a couple years. And it's been for the best because my mom, she hasn't tried to be really involved in my life. And when I moved away, it was hard for her to understand everything that was going on. And she did a lot of things and said a lot of things that were very, very hurtful to me throughout my whole life, but especially when we were living together, like when I lived with her, things that like no one should ever say to their daughter. And so she never really took accountability for that or could see, the damage that had caused. And so it's been this tough thing that like with my mom, it's kind of like an energy
Suck.
leak, suck. And so anytime that I would talk to her on the phone or even visit her throughout my college years and even after I married my husband, like it was my husband who was like, you're a different person when you are with your mom. Like she like really, really affects you in a negative way. And we got to figure something out. We got to either put some boundaries up or do something. Cause like it can't be like this. Even I know she's your mom, but like it can't be this type of relationship.
That's so wild. Ben actually says the same thing.
Really?
Like mine and my mom's relationship is leaps and bounds better than what it used to be. But when I hang out with her, sometimes he'll be like, can you please not play into whatever's going on?
Yeah.
Because he's like, I can see the shift in you when you do that. And I can see the shift when you don't play into that. And I never even thought of it, but I think that's really interesting.
It took my husband, his perspective to change my perspective around it. But like, I never thought of that either. But I knew every time I left a conversation with my mom or visiting my mom, I was physically depleted and it's like drained.
It's like feeling hangry.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. It's like what, like, I don't even know how to explain it, but it takes everything out of you. And I think it's because, at least for me, I knew if I spoke my truth that it would become a blow up. Like it was my relationship with her, it was never, ever safe. I was never safe to speak my mind, be who I was.
Did she always take it personally?
Oh yeah. My mom is the victim.
Yes.
And she's been the victim her whole life. And so nothing you can say or do will register that maybe I had something to play into this. It was just like, you're the problem, you're the problem, you're the problem.
Yeah.
And can say any mean name, anything, and just like let it bounce off. And then 5 minutes later, okay, so go to lunch or this. And then I was, you play into the cycle.
Yeah.
And then my husband's over here like, this is not normal.
Like, did she hear
what's
herself?
happening? Yeah.
That's so wild. What about with your dad? Like, have you ever been able to talk to your dad or your stepmom about like what went on in high school? And
it's crazy because I think I lived in so much shame and guilt around it for so many years that I really did not have a full conversation with my dad about it until like this year.
Wow.
After I came out and shared my story. And I want to be clear, like my dad is an amazing person, amazing man. He took on so much so he was 28 when he went through this custody battle.
Holy cow.
Took on 8 kids, moved to Oregon.
Jeez.
Moved to Oregon. He had a computer programming job at Intel. very, very stressful job at the time.
Yeah.
It's crazy to think because AI now is like literally doing everything so easy from what he was literally reading books, learning how to code and all sorts of crazy stuff. So he was in a really, really stressful time in his life. He got MS at that time.
Oh, I remember.
Or no, he had gotten MS actually a couple years before. He had got diagnosed with it. And then it got really, got really bad around that time. And I mean, it makes sense. Like he was going through a really stressful time. And so it's not that he didn't mean to like emotionally neglect me. Right.
But he also had so much
on
going
his plate that I don't blame him.
Well, I mean, it's so wild. I think becoming a parent, gosh, it puts so much stuff into perspective where it's like, with my parents, I had this whole idea growing up of like how it should have been or what I was upset about or what I had forgiven them for. And then I became a parent, like I had my son and I was like, oh, this puts things into perspective of just like being a mom in general. And then I had my daughter and that like shifted so much. And like you were saying of being a mom and realizing like kind of what your mom was going through emotionally and having some compassion for that. It's so wild when you become a parent. And it's different when you have boys and girls too, for me anyways, of understanding the childhood that you had and learning how to have compassion for your parents and what they went through. And it's almost like you get a fuller picture of what really was going on with them, but then also realizing at the same time, you guys could have done this a little bit better. This is what I needed. And then in your case too, where you were so ashamed to even tell anybody, I'm sure there was a lot that he probably didn't even know was going on to know that he needed to parent.
Yeah.
Better.
No, absolutely. Like I think if I would have came to him and said, this is happening right now, he would have been there for me and he would have done whatever he could to be a solid support system. But we just didn't have that foundation built before. So that's the part that, like you said, it was unfortunate that it happened the way it happened. Also, it had to happen the way it happened. But I think it's the silver lining where I know what I didn't get from my parents. Therefore, I can be aware of that and give that to my kids.
Yep, exactly. What was the one thing that I really love about what you've been advocating for right now is what was interesting is what brought this up was the Mormon Wives show.
Oh, yes.
Was all the bullying. And you started sharing your story. And I think it's really cool to understand like the transition for people of like, what was the transition for you of going from that bullying to, did you just decide at some point, like, I'm never going to be that type of a bully? Or like, what was that like for you growing up because you were not like that? Like, I'm definitely a person who like, let's spill the tea a little bit. And I remember sometimes I'd come to you and be like, I want to talk to you about something. And you'd be like, oh, okay, whatever. Well, I love them anyways. And so I love that you don't feed into that. That's like super admirable because sadly, I don't think that that's as common and it needs to be, especially with women. Yeah. Like what was it for you that shifted or made you?
So I think the main thing was this. After I got out of high school and I moved back to Utah, that's a whole other story in itself. But the day of graduation, I decided, okay, I'm not going to live here anymore. I'm not going to do this. I'm going to move to Utah and I'm just going to go and face my fears. And like, I had this huge perspective shift that like my life actually was great in Utah. I had community. I did have friends. I had friends. I had family. I had like church. I had all these things. I didn't have any of that in California. And so it made all of that actually a lot more meaningful. Yeah. And so I had this perspective shift. And then I also had this shift inside of me that I would never want to treat somebody bad based on their past because I would hope that somebody would give me the same grace. And that's all I ever wanted. All I ever wanted was somebody, all I ever wanted was a friend. Like all I ever wanted was someone to just accept me and love me for who I was. And so in that moment, it was like a realization that like I have the power to be that for someone else.
I love that. And at such a young age to realize that, that's really cool.
Yeah. So it was like 18. I had this total shift in perspective and belief about myself. And I moved back to Utah and I started reading Louise Hay. I love her. And I read A Return to Love. It's not by her. I think it's by somebody else. But it like reading that book completely transformed my life because it made me believe that there's hope for change. And like, I have the power to change my life and I can be the person that I would want to be. And so then it was like, I started attracting the right people in my life. I started living in gratitude and love. And it just like, everything became easier. Like I would have the same issue or like I could have the same problems or issues, but like it didn't affect me the same. But like you were saying with not gossiping, I knew how bad it felt to be gossiped about. And so I would never want someone else to feel that way because I knew what it felt like. And so I think if we can put ourselves in other people's shoes, like just for a second, think what it would feel like if someone knew your deepest, darkest secret, right? And if they were going and sharing it.
Share with them.
Yes, and they were going and sharing it with other people, like how would that make you feel?
Yeah.
And then if you're doing that to someone else, then it can make you step back and be like, oh, okay, maybe I won't do that. And of course there's times where we slip and we're like in the moment and we're like saying something or gossiping and then we're like, oh shoot, like how many times have you been with your friends and you've started talking about something and then it just like kind of gets bigger and then you walk away from the conversation feeling really icky.
Yeah. I've had moments where like I've had an interaction with a friend that was just like super recent and kind of like, I don't know if this is the right term, but just like hot on my mind. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or like it just happened and I can't stop thinking about it and I'm trying to figure it out. And then I get talking to somebody and it just happens that they bring that person up and I just like, and I'm like, oh, I didn't really want to talk to that person about all of that stuff. But
no, it happens to all of us.
Yeah.
Like, and then you walk away from that feeling like, oh, so bad. So for me, the thing that helps so much when it comes to not getting sucked into gossiping is just like, you make the decision right there. Like you make the decision right before, like, no matter how passionate I am about this topic or this person, I am not going to talk about them because I am such a big believer in energy and like karma. I don't like, like words are energy.
Yes.
And if you're gossiping about other people, like I do feel like things always come full circle. And then, if we can just, if you can just not gossip, like it makes life so much more simple and at ease. And then you're not always worried, like, what if that person knows what I said? Or what if that, you know what I mean?
Well, and I was thinking too, just like recently something I've been realizing and just kind of taking a step back is sometimes I'll have these opinions of like, oh, that was so messed up. Or I can't believe they said that or da, 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 da. And then I take a step back and I actually get to see the full picture and you start to realize like, having grace for somebody and allowing them to have their humanness of, okay, maybe they did or they said this, but what were they going through?
Yeah.
And did they realize that that was going to affect me this way? Or, like you were saying of thinking of like, if I said this and they heard about it, thinking that of the same of other people of like, you know what, they're human and they're stressed or they have this going on and maybe they meant it this way or whatever. And just realizing kind of like stopping it in its tracks of they were just being human. And while this thing that they did perplexes me, irritates me, whatever, I really love that person.
Yeah.
And can I just leave it at that? And I don't have to play into whatever drama is going on around whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, and that's helped me actually a lot, especially with my girlfriend, like my friendships with girls now, because I used to get burned by girls. And then I would just be like, okay, I'm not friends with you anymore.
Yeah.
And then I would move on. And it was only a defense mechanism on my part. And now that I'm 33 and I feel like I have a solid group of friends and I have good friendships and they're healthy, things still come up. But like the way that I have reacted to these things has made the biggest difference in having grace, because there have been times with just the friendships that I have now where I could have been like, oh, like you said this to me or thought this about me or handled this way. And it was actually like really hurtful and horrible. But instead of being like, I'm not friends with you anymore, I have grace and compassion. I'm like, okay, I understand why you would do that. Like you're going through a really like insecure time right now. Like I understand. Or, you know, you're dealing with your own like sister wounds and, you know, you're trying to protect yourself. And so I think if we can just, have a little more like compassion. Take a step back, put yourself in their shoes. It just makes friendship and life a lot easier. And like we all at the end of the day want grace, right? We all want to like, hey, you're human. Like you're okay to mess up. Like I still love you.
Yeah. Well, and a lot of times too, it's like, okay, whatever they said, were they having a knee-jerk reaction to, like you said, their own wounds and insecurities that they've had to deal with in the past? Because I've done that before where somebody says something to me and instead of taking a moment to actually think about it, I just spit something out. And then later on, I'm like, oh, I actually don't feel that way. But that's already out. And now it's been talked about and blah, 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 blah. And now like just being able to have that grace of like, okay, maybe it was a knee-jerk reaction of their own wounds, and being able to work through that and talk it out and be on the same page strengthens our relationship. Yeah. Instead of just writing it off. Yeah. And not allowing them to have that humanness. And I think also it creates that safety, because you were saying like how you wanted to be that friend that you didn't have, creating that safety for other people to realize like they can make those mistakes and they don't lose that love and that friendship. Yeah.
And the cool part about it is that they see that and then they start to like emulate that.
Yes.
And they start to see, okay, this is like what I've learned in my marriage too, is like if I want something, if I want to change something in my marriage, I need to stop blaming my husband for not doing the thing I want him to do. I need to start doing it. Yep. And then he's going to see it and then he's going to start, you know, emulate, like mirroring it, doing the same thing. And that's the same thing in friendships. And I think it's hard sometimes because I like will play in my head that I'm being too much or like I'm giving too much in a friendship and it needs to be equal. And if they're not, then like I need to like pull back. And I've really tried to reframe that into like, you know, I can be the friend that I want to be and it's okay if they aren't, but at least they can see that. And then it gives them, you know, a little like blueprint of like what a good friend would be.
Well, it's like that saying of when you start doing the work and you are healing so many generations in front of and behind you, you're also helping to heal your circle that's like right there with you. It's not just a family thing.
It's a little ripple effect. Yeah. It's like literal waves.
Exactly. Well, like a prime example, like going back to you not feeding into gossip, it like brings that into I think about it all the time, actually, where I'm like, I'll be talking to friends and I think like, oh, you know what, actually, if I want to, I don't know. I just think of what would I be happier with if I walk away from this conversation and I'm feeding into this gossip and like, oh yeah, let me put in my 2 cents or whatever. Yeah. Am I going to feel better after that conversation, or am I going to feel better giving this other, whoever we're talking about or whatever we're talking about, giving it some grace? Yeah. And I get to walk away. Like I'll feel way more at peace if I am putting a little bit of grace and humanness in there and not feeding into it.
Yeah. And it's crazy. It's crazy what one conversation, how it can affect your whole day. Right. And then it like spills into everything. And I think that's why The Secret Lives of Mormon Wives, it was watching that triggered me into this whole thing. Yeah. Like I just one day after I had watched it, I felt so icky. It was that icky, yucky feeling. And I'd never want people to feel that. Yeah. I don't like feeling like that. And that's why I made my video, because these girls are, when you get in that environment, it's so easy to get sucked into it. Yeah. Right. Yeah. And especially a TV show, like you're told, do this, do that, because you want more ratings and you have to have the drama. And, the thing that I really, really think is unfortunate is that this show has blown up so much and it's giving girls a blueprint onto how they should think friendship is, right? Like it's not women empowerment. It's not like, it's not showing real friendship. It's showing that like scarcity and that there's never going to be enough. And like, I need to make sure I have all these little things stacked up against this person just in case I need to use it or like, you know,
it's not, I've been talking to a lot of people about this, about authenticity. And when you get to be your authentic self, then you get to, it's like the people that you meet that you actually click with, it's a fast track to that friendship when everybody is being their authentic self. And when you are stacking up these things as backup ammo in case this friendship falls apart, you're not being present. You're not being your authentic self.
Yeah.
You're living out of fear and the what ifs and planning for the worst.
Yeah.
Like that's what it's like manifesting the worst case scenario.
Yeah.
In a friendship.
Yeah.
Which is so shitty.
So shitty. And I have had friendships like that. And all of my relationships with women were like that growing up. My mom was like, that is the epitome of my mom. And I understand it because she had to protect herself, or she felt like she had to protect herself her whole life. So she had to have this ammo in the back of her pocket just in case.
Yeah.
And
well, and she probably never felt like somebody had her back.
No,
that she
never.
So she didn't need to have the ammo.
Never. Yeah.
Ugh,
which is so heartbreaking to me.
Yeah. And that is heartbreaking and exhausting.
Exhausting. Like it will take over your whole entire life.
Yeah. Oof. One thing that we were talking about before we started that I really, really love your outlook on is basically this choice that we all have of just because, and we've kind of talked about it a little bit, of like just because your life was a certain way doesn't mean that that gets to define how your future is. Which I'm like, I talk about this all the time on here of like as a kid, yeah, your decisions are being made for you. But as at a certain point in life, you get to decide if the way that you were brought up or your experiences are going to make you or break you, I guess you could say. Like, are you going to have this be the tone of your life, or are you going to learn the lessons from it and decide that you're going to take a sharp left?
Yeah.
And that's not going to be your life.
Yeah.
And I really loved it. Like, I wanted to kind of expand on that a little bit, especially with your personal experience and how you've done that.
Yeah. And it really started the last couple of years that, I mean, once I moved back here and I kind of had that perspective shift after high school, once I started making those little subtle changes and then started seeing it was actually working, is when it kind of solidified in me that like, I get to choose. I get to choose my own story. I don't have to live with these people's definitions of me or versions of me, because at the end of the day, like it really only matters what I believe about myself, and that will transpire in every part of my life, right? Like if I have self-love, then I'm going to act in a way of more self-love than self-hatred. And that's going to, attract different people and different things. And I think it's really important for people to understand, like, you can rewrite your story at any time.
Yep.
And at any age, with anyone, at any moment. Like, there's not like a definitive moment where it's like, I have to wait until this specific thing or do these, these like 10 things before I can change. It's like, you actually can just you can literally make the decision right now. Like, you got to have the intention for it and like really know the person that you want to be and
what that person would do and
what that person would do and act like and look like and like visualize it. But the power of your thoughts and the power of visualization is like so big, like so huge. It
is. Yeah.
So huge.
I actually had someone on here one time, her name's JD, and she said that she would always think of, she went to some seminar and they were like, picture who you want to be and like where you want to be in 5 years. What kind of things does that person do? And breaking it down to something as simple as like, when she wakes up in the morning, what are the first 5 things that she does? Or when this situation arises, what does she do? What is she eating? What is she wearing? Where is she going? Who is she hanging out with? What is she reading? Like anything like that. And then be that person now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, I do this thing now. I think you learned about it too. The what did they call it? The visualized movie. Your
oh yeah.
What was it called? Your life movie or something like that. Yeah,
that's what it was. The life movie. Yeah.
Where you literally, and you can do it in your head or you can make a video and watch it every day. Mm-hmm. But it was basically that where you visualize. You can do this in like meditation, just laying down, but you literally, like you said, visualize who you want to be and you sit in it and you think about it and you visualize the girl. What is she doing? What is her career? How is she feeling? And you just sit in that feeling, sit in that gratitude. And you really have to be clear with what it is. But if you start to like work that muscle and really see it and visualize it and feel it, then like, you will start to become that person, but you have to actually do the things that person would do. Yes. And so I like what you said, where it's like, break it down to like the littlest, tiniest thing. Mm-hmm. And that's something that I'm trying to do right now. Cause I feel like I have had a big shift in the last, year. Mm-hmm. And I'm seeing that where I'm not going to make any change unless I like make the change.
Yes.
Like exactly. I have to act. There's only so much manifesting you can do until like, you do have to actually wake up like 30 minutes earlier and journal, like write down what you want to accomplish, right? Mm-hmm. Or like there's little steps that you can take. But once you can start seeing who you want to become and like start to do those things, then it kind of all just...
Then you can start embodying it.
Yeah. And it gets easier and it's like this muscle you're working and it gets stronger. And like even this podcast, if you would have asked me to do this 6 months ago, I would have been paralyzed by fear.
Yeah.
Paralyzed. And I probably would have been like, oh, I don't know. And like talk myself out of it. But it's been really cool because my visualizing that I've done has been me on stage talking or like talking to people and that, and also acting on it and talking in front of the camera has really helped me to be more comfortable with it. And, get my message out there without like, just like, I'm strengthening the muscle again. Right. Yeah. But it's not just like I did this and then I'm doing this. It's little mini steps to get
There's a whole
me
process
there. There's a whole process, but yeah. So
I love that.
I think it's really important for people to know you can always rewrite your story. Mm-hmm. Your past explains you, but it doesn't define you.
Yes. I have this thing that I realized not too long ago where I was like, there's literally no rules to life. Like society has taught us that like we're supposed to do things a certain way and we should do it this way. And you don't say this to certain people and you don't do that, or you don't wear this, or you don't act this way, or ew, who eats that? Like, but really there's absolutely no fucking rules in life. Mm-hmm. Like you think about these people who've gone off and they live off the grid and they just do whatever the hell they want to because they decided to.
Yeah. So badass.
Like, right? I don't know if I could do it. I think it's great.
I could not do it. But I'm like, hey.
Good job. But like, there are no rules in life. Mm-hmm. There are so many things that everybody else has said they think the rules are, and we're just living by it blindly. Mm-hmm. But really, we get to do whatever the hell we want to. And so like, if you decide that you're not happy with your life in whatever aspect that is of, you don't like the food that you're eating, you don't like the place that you live, you don't like the job that you have, you don't like your entire life, you can change those things, but you also have to be the one to take the steps. Nobody's going to do it for you. Like it has to be a decision for yourself, and it doesn't have to be something big and drastic. It can be little baby steps. And it also doesn't mean if you decide you don't like your life, it also doesn't mean that you have to write off everybody in your life, get a divorce, move somewhere and start a new family and da-da-da-da. Like it's completely possible for you to have this new life with the people that you love and care about.
Yeah.
But like you have to decide what those parameters are. You have to set your own rules. Mm-hmm. And I think when I first realized this, I'm like, oh, that's really fucking overwhelming. Like that's too much that I have to decide all of that. But then when I change the I love the play on words where like, if you just shift one word of like, ooh, I get to.
Yeah. Yeah. Tone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I get to decide every day what I'm going to do. I get to decide what my attitude is going to be towards certain things, towards certain topics and people. Or if I am going to try something new with an optimistic mind, like I get to decide all of that.
Yeah. Not I have to.
Right.
Or, yeah.
Yeah. It's not this overwhelming thing.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I think it's really cool to know that we have the control and know that, like, again, I think for me, I like change, but actually changing is so scary because you're going into the unknown. And so it like, there's a big resist. There was a big resist for me. Well, like it was like a mind F because I'm like, I'm trying to change to be a better person and like rewrite my own belief systems and my story. But like, I'm getting a lot of pushback and it's literally me subconsciously, like, this is unknown territory. This is unsafe. I don't know what's going to happen. I like actually to be in my known self and kind of like the negatives too, because it feels familiar. And it's like this like toxic thing where it's like, you know, it was hard for me to like feel like I deserved to have a happy and good life. And I still deal with that where I'm like, I don't feel like,
what did I do to get all of this? You know what? And I think that is a huge roadblock for so many people that they don't even realize is what's stopping them from making shifts to the life that they actually want. And I'm not talking about like, you can be a millionaire tomorrow. Like this isn't some get rich quick scheme, but it's just like truly being genuinely happy with your life. Like, I think what's stopping people is what they're in is comfortable.
Yeah. And it's like self-sabotage. Like I can self-sabotage myself.
Oh yeah.
In so many ways because it's like, I know what I want. I know what I am capable of and having and doing, but I self-sabotage myself by, you know, not doing it or the self-doubt, negative talk, whatever it is. And then I psych myself out it's
not fun being uncomfortable.
Oh yeah. So then it's like, okay, I'm going to not do that anymore. I'm going to go back to being comfortable. But then I'm pissed off because I want to change and I want to like have something bigger.
And then I'm disappointed in myself because I didn't follow through on the thing that I said that I wanted. And then you're really just like ruining your own self-esteem and confidence in yourself.
No. Yeah. That's why, you know, being a mom, like I am a real estate agent, but like I wouldn't even claim that as like a career. Like it's not I don't like it. Yeah. It's not just to be honest, like I'm not passionate about it whatsoever. But I am with my husband, but that's his like, you know, that's his thing. Yeah. And so I've always been trying to find like my thing, like my purpose, what I want to do, what am I passionate about? And so it's been cool to just see this kind of like start to play out and just by me being vulnerable enough and like brave enough to just like jump into the unknown and just talk about something that I went through, how that in itself has already brought so many opportunities and people into my life and conversations and like change for me and other people. And I'm starting to feel fulfilled and I'm starting to feel like, oh, like maybe this is my thing and my purpose, you know? And
like you're one
I feel
step
so
closer.
Yes, like I feel so good. And I think again with like the rewriting, like it's once you start to live authentically, like you start to I don't know, like get that much closer to what your purpose is and what like does fill you up and you know builds that confidence. So
it's a huge, I don't know, it's like a clarifying shift, I guess is the way that I think about it. One question that I like to ask everybody is with what you've been through, what you've learned through all of this, what's something that you'd like to share with somebody who might be going through something similar?
Oh, that there's so much to that I would want to say, but I think the biggest thing that I have learned from all of this is that your past does not define you. You have the choice to choose something different. And like I said earlier, your past, it explains you and why you are the way you are, but it does not have to define you in the rest of your life. You get to choose at the end of the day. Like you can change. You can be anything that you want. It really just starts with you believing it and you can do it. I mean, I've done it. And I'm doing it right now. So yeah.
Oh, I love that. Thank you so much for being on here and sharing your story with me.
Thank you for having me. Oh my gosh, I feel so happy. This is amazing.
I love it. Yay. Yay. Hey, thanks for listening to this episode. If you liked what you heard, please remember to subscribe and go leave a review on Apple Podcast. It helps me know what you want to hear and who I should have as a guest next. Thanks again, and until next time, keep living the life of a lotus.